Welcome back to video number 6 of the 7-part series of publishing a project from ArcGIS Pro to Trimble TerraFlex for field collection. So far we've set up and published a project which in our video series is the water outlet devices phase 8 project. Now what we will do is going to have a look at the field device side of things and get a brief introduction to Trimble TerraFlex, its settings, collecting and syncing data from the field. Okay, what I've done now is we've set up the Android device to display on the screen. Just going to minimize everything here. On the device, it's Android, so it's simple to use. We have TerraFlex, so let's click on that icon, and we're not signed in as you can see here. What you will need to do is ensure that you have an internet connection, either via SIM card 5G or Wi-Fi, but it does require an internet connection. So we will sign in. Okay, you can see it's looking at it's looking for a Trimble identity. The Trimble identity for this device is linked by its Google account, which is also the primary account on the device. So we have already set up this to sync with Google, and we just continue with Google. Backup passwords and access to the device's two-factor authentication and those recovery keys are all managed by the tracing section. We're going to skip this creating a pass key. We just want to log in. Okay, first thing it does after logging is it attempts to sync, and the reason why it does that is to ensure that it has the latest and updated information from the servers for continuation of form collection. So it has completed syncing. As you can see, the syncing icon disappeared from there, and we can see 3 projects. Before we get into the projects, let us look at the standard settings that each unit needs to have for Trimble TerraFlex. This is to ensure that we have a standard set of units collecting the same types of information for audit purposes and also for accuracy. We click on the 3 bars, we go to settings. Okay. Location service must be set to this device, antenna 1.3 meters, which is the average height a unit is held above the ground. That's important if you're collecting heights. Real-time configuration must be set to Trimble RTX sub-meter. And the RTX subscription status must be set to field point. If you click on there, it will tell you when the configuration of the unit expires, which is 5 years away, 3 years away. The unit is set up for 5 years, so the remaining time will be added on as you get closer to this expiry date. Trimble did inform that the configurations are available until that date. Okay, we're not using a laser rangefinder on this device or any external sensors. Our accuracy we want is horizontal. That's more important to us, actual spatial position in the XY plane. And then we want to see what the accuracy will look like after post-processing, so it will estimate an accuracy for us. Photographs, we want location, bearing, and also date and time to be shown, watermarked on the photographs. We want metric system, that's what we use here in South Africa. We do not want the breadcrumb trail to be shown on the map. It will just crowd out the map. And then lastly, the breadcrumb logging. Although we don't want to see it, we want it logged and we want it stored. Okay, you don't have to save anything here. You can go back, it automatically saves. So those are the settings. Now let's get to the main screen of Trimble TerraFlex. We have 3 projects that was assigned to this device. We can click on here on the map screen and it will show us all the projects. We don't have any local projects set up on this machine, all are cloud-based. This is a project that's synced when we signed in for our video series, which was the water outlet devices phase 8. We have 2 others, the EWS master data dictionary and the tanker filling points verification. The nice thing about this is that you can limit the number of form templates you have for the specific project without having the entire municipal data dictionary that was created for each project. This limits and minimizes your amount of database setup if you just have those specific feature classes to publish. It's nice to keep it in those neat containers, and also allows you to allocate projects to specific people and keep the teams as small as required or as large as required, depends how you look at it, to complete a specific project. To know which project's active, you'll see this big banner here saying active. If I had to then choose the EWS master data dictionary, it will switch, it will try and sync, which it always tries to do. It's important that if you do not have an internet connection, to ensure that you are synced up before you leave the office, where you have your access to your Wi-Fi connection. If I click on the projects again, it will push it to the top of the list and it will tell you which one's active. So to know which one's active, it will be on the top of the list and it will have the active banner on there. To switch, all you simply need to do is scroll down to the project you are doing and select it. The nice thing about this is it will only show the forms that were set up for you in our project for this video series. We just had 4 feature classes. The GPS points, the meters installed, the water leaks, and the water outlet devices. Tasks is something we will look at in a separate video. It is a bit more higher grade with regards to the data management on the back end. And also on the front end, the field teams need to be trained up before they could use that. So we will definitely be having a video series on that. Unfortunately, I'm indoors. I've only got 1 satellite here, so I can't really do any GPSing. But what I have done is I have GPS some points outside yesterday, and that's what we will use in the subsequent part of this video series. Okay, so now if we want to collect something, we click the collect button. Okay, they'll tell you which form do you want to collect. You could click on these forms here. It will open up data collection. If you want to look at the map, you can look at the map. Let's see if it gets down to where we are. It's a bit confused. We can change the base maps here by clicking on that button. Let's make it street. The GPS is a bit confused now. It hasn't seen enough satellites, so it doesn't know where we are. But let's just zoom in here. There we go. Okay. On the map, you can then click the add button, choose whichever one you want to, whichever the forms you want to collect. You can filter based on what you want to see on the map. which feature class. If you have a specific feature class, if you only want to look at the GPS points, you can just leave it on. If you want to look at any one or all of them, you can leave them on. You want to know what are drafts, so gotta learn about this. It's simple, it's just simple filters. Okay, let's go back and let's capture a point. Unfortunately, again, I'm looking at this. The satellites don't want to, the device doesn't want to play ball, it doesn't want to pick up satellites from the windowsill. So what we'll do, we'll just go through these forms. Okay, let's just capture GPS point. It's not going to average. So when you're out on site and this is green, it will average up to 30 and stop. At that moment, and for those 30 seconds, you are required to stand still, hold the device still over the point that you want to collect, wait for that to finish. It will say the point has been collected, and then you can continue with your data entry. Okay, then put some information in here, and you can then take a photograph. The device is pointing down on the windowsill. Okay, so I've already captured these points. We will look at captured points shortly. Assuming you found a water leak, but it's not at the location that you're standing in. A scenario could be you at a fence and you cannot get access to that property, but you could see that there's a water leak inside, or anything for that matter that you don't have direct access to. You can digitize the point. So assuming the water leak is medium, you can add your photographs by clicking on the photographs, taking a photograph. You can go to map. Okay, and wherever you are on your map, okay, let's just go zoom in somewhere. Okay, we are here, Halifax Road. You can switch your base map to the aerial imagery to make it more visible to you, or to find yourself. So obviously it needs internet connection to be able to do this on site. You need a 5G connection. So assuming you are standing, we are currently in this building, assuming you're standing at this fence and you can see inside this property and there's a water leak here, but you can't get to it, you can then, on the map screen, you can click that icon and then add a point, and you can save it. Okay, let us quickly look at the meters installed feature class. Okay, so the forms, it's something that the staff are familiar with. You just need to go through it, collect what's required. Remember, we had conditions imposed on this feature class that if it is a straight through connection, we don't want a meter number because there is no meter. If it's not a straight through, or if it's not applicable, you're going to end up with having to put a meter number in. Okay, so you enter this, then you save it, and you carry on to the next point. Assuming you don't enter anything that's required, or you miss something that was required, and you say save, it's going to tell you these are required inputs, and you need to enter it before you can save it. You can save it as a draft and come back to it, but you rather not finish it while you are at the location. I'm going to discard that point, and now we're going to look at the outlet devices. Once again, it's the same thing. When you are on site and have good GPS coverage, you're going to have a GPS count you up to 30. It's going to average for 30 seconds and give you a very good fix. And conditions, again, this form is switched off until you choose a verification status, and it will only open if it exists. because if something doesn't exist or unable to verify, or if it's under query, it's not going to open. So only if something exists, or the device exists, will it ask you for input. Once again, the conditions come into play here. If there is a water meter present, it's going to ask you for the meter details. If you don't know or unknown or no, it's going to now block it out because there is no meter to capture meter number 4. Interesting thing here is that we have unable to verify, but why would you want to GPS something that does not exist, query, or unable to verify? It's purely for audit purposes to prove that our staff have been to the location where we expected to find a feature, which is a water outlet device in this instance. Again, it could be any feature that you're going to verify or check, and you are able to capture that point at that location to say, yes, I've been here and I could not find anything. And you can take some photographs to say there is nothing there to prove the point. But this is not generally used. It's obviously project specific, and that's up to you to decide. Okay, so once your forms are collected, and assuming you now have internet connection again, you can sync the data back to the office. If you have a data connection on site, it will sync as you're going. If you don't have a data connection, it will sync when you do have one, assuming you're in an area where there is no 5G or 4G coverage or LTE coverage. Whenever you do get back into coverage, it will sync back. Assuming you don't have a device that has a SIM card and the internet access on site, you can bring it back to the office, connect to the work Wi-Fi, and then sync your entire day's work back to the cloud. There is no physical connecting to any computer to get the data back. So you click on those 3 bars and say sync. Now what it's doing, it's pushing that digitized point for the water leak in this instance back. It will tell you it's complete, and a word of advice here is then to click on that 3 bars and say remove forms. You don't want to back up your device with forms that were already collected and downloaded, and say remove forms, say yes. So that must go down to 0, so you know everything's cleaned off the machine, and then you can then exit TerraFlex and put your machine on charge. Okay, so I'm going to exit TerraFlex on the device. Okay, that's Google for you. Just going to close it out. Okay, I'm now going to close out of this and then look on the Trimble Connect website for what happened and what changed there. Okay, let's go to Trimble Connect. Okay, so this is your map. As you can see, I've got all the feature layers on. Let's look at our GPS points. We've got 1 point there. Our meters installed, our water leaks, water outlet devices. Okay. Just going to refresh this map. Okay, the refresh was completed. Now you can see there's a few more points here. Okay, so we can view these points by selecting them using this selection tool. Draw a rectangle, you can go polygon, and now we can see all the features that we've collected here. You can see points that were digitized, points that were GPSed. Gives you, so you can see here all the autonomous fields that or the auto fields that we've created in ArcGIS Pro. All the tracking fields are here. It gives you estimated accuracy. This point is queued for post-processing at 12:02 today. Points that are digitized. will not be post-processed as you didn't capture any GPS data. So this is the map space on Trimble Connect, showing all the data that comes in here. So you can add filters. That's a task button. We don't have any tasks set up. That's going to be a separate video. You can put your filters on. You want things that were just GPSed today. It'll just show you what was GPS today. I don't know what was GPS yesterday. Those were the points that were GPS yesterday. Modified by, let's see, you can see who captured what. You can filter. So there's quite a bit of filters here that you can play with. You want to know what was exported, what was not exported, and also the unprocessed or processed points. Okay, so I'm going to clear this filters. I'm not going to do any downloading here now or anything of that sort. That will be in video number 7. And I do hope that this gave you a good introduction to Trimble TerraFlex and how to collect data. So that will be the end of video number 6. And what we will do next is bring the data back to complete the life cycle of this project of setting it up, sending it out to site, collecting the data and bringing it back to where you need it. That's inside the GIS. This is Keshlin Reddy signing out, and see you on the next video. Goodbye.